People walking around, living in a daze, high above the ground, with the snooty ways, putting people down.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I enjoy seeing students grow. I enjoy seeing students have a connection to what I'm saying as a way to discover their own artistry. You know, it makes me feel like maybe that by saying the right thing at the right time in their life and them digesting it over some time, they're able to become like a more whole person or become a better version of themselves. That's a kind of a powerful feeling. Well, you know, it doesn't on its own, but certainly a lot of people have come to this camp or this festival for the healing. You know, it's not. I mean, a lot of them are advanced singers, and I do jive well with that. But I think a lot of these people have like emotional moments, and they have moments where maybe they're reconciling different parts of their lives, and so there's a lot of spirit that's floating around educational festivals like this. It's not just about rote. It's not about rudiments. I enjoy a lot of things, actually. In fact, I have a problem because I enjoy too many things. I have a curiosity about everything, especially when people introduce me to things and they're passionate about things. Then I become like passionate by proximity. That is such a huge compliment, and I don't take that compliment lightly because that is what I feel like I'm about. And I really I want to be a voice of music going forward, and I want to really touch people's hearts with my music. And in order to do that, I have to embrace my natural love for stuff that came before, and my natural love for things that are going on now.
I'm in tulip, I'm in tulip, I'm in.
Okay, for singing, right. Singing came first. I do play an instrument, and that actually came first.
Which is the instrument?
Piano first, then French horn, and then singing. Or, well, I mean, I started singing when I was young, but formalized singing. No, but they love and embrace and support me in my music. Well, actually, that's something that actually I can bring around to your first question, which is a lot of people talk about, oh, my first Charlie Parker record or my first this, and I had those moments too. But I think for me, it's been like as opposed to like a sea change moment, it's been a series of little moments, and it started in the home with my family and their encouragement, and then it continued in my junior high and high school programs, which are really excellent public school music programs, and not just the programs themselves, but when you foster a community of people that are all doing the same thing, there's natural fun, there's natural competition, and that can really be an easy road to inspiration. So I can't really pinpoint it to one moment. I heard a lot of those great recordings, but it was this culmination of stuff that was like, yeah, I want to do this.
I love the feel of
Well, you know, at the time, I just enjoyed it, right? But looking back, I think it was the freedom of the individual soloist to express himself in the moment, improvising, and how good it felt to do that as a soloist myself, and also be in time, not just like open, but like be in a jazz rhythm, and contrasting that to the pop songs, which had maybe more of a formula, but there had like some beautiful melodies and lyrics, which I'm into. But at that time, it was the freedom of expression, if that makes sense, just in the moment, that kind of led me down that path. Mostly, I listen to new music, meaning like new stuff that I will like. I don't know how to. Genre can be electronic, it could be R&B, it could be hip hop, it could be Strangely, it's not a lot of jazz. But, that's not a diss on jazz. I love jazz, obviously. I'm a jazz singer. But I can be specific. Today it was this band Toro y Moi, this band Rai, this woman Rai. What else? I've been listening to a lot of Leon La Havas, this English singer who's badass. I just saw her niece. And Laura Mbula out of England also. The list goes on and on. It's J. Paul, James Blake, lots of stuff. Strangely not jazz. That's weird. That is the goal, and I think my writing, lyric writing is different than prose or poetry, but the idea with lyrics is you distill deep thoughts into like real simple stuff. And my thing is to get my own little angle on them. I've always appreciated a shade of gray, but I'm trying to find words that are familiar enough that when you assemble them, they sound new, but they're all comprised of stuff that you kind of use in your own vernacular. Well, now that's changed. As a jazz musician, like tonight, we're going with the flow, and tonight I'm blessed to be playing with some of these guys, like Matt Wilson, particularly on the drums, is like, a hero. Anthony Wilson is superb. He's Diana Krall's guitar player. He's a fantastic. But now as I write my own music and I think about the sounds, I think about guys who can play the sounds that I want, and so it's less about their own individual soul, which I guess is part of what jazz is, and more about can they get with my vision, frankly, And so actually that may move me away from getting jazz people, because we as jazz people are so used to trying to realize our own vision, So let's say I get you and you're a great accomplished jazz musician and we really vibe on a gig like this, and I'm like, I think you're going to play my music really well. But when you see it as my music and I say, no, not that note, but this note. And before, as jazz musicians, I was just trusting. Anything you do, I trust, because I trust you. That's where I come from, and that's what I built a community of people around. But now it's changing, where I want you to play that D and not that E flat. In the world from classical to pop music, pretty much everything but jazz, there's that script you're talking about. And I'm buying into that now as a way to realize my next project. Which doesn't mean I don't love people in the jazz community doing what they do. It doesn't mean I'm not having a kick-ass time downstairs. But just for my next album, I want people who play the notes I want them to play. It's just happening. I'm not even tempted. It's happening. Exactly. That's why I say it like that, because I don't really want to get on a pedestal about jazz versus other stuff. A lot of people are talking about that, and I'm not in any position, nor do I feel it. It's just wasted energy. It's just we're all in the mix. Some people are in the mix more than others. I love this other kind of stuff. I want to write some stuff that feels something else. I'd be happy if it was called jazz. I'd be happy if it was called table-loving music. No, I think there's plenty of people that are out there waving the flag high for jazz. That's the simple answer. I think the thing is that jazz is changing, and it's changing in a way that is getting a little bit of attention, at least in the jazz community. Nobody outside the jazz community cares if jazz is changing. The tricky thing is that now, inside the jazz community, we actually kind of care what people outside the jazz community think. And before, maybe they were like, screw these guys. But now it's like, well, maybe we shouldn't call our stuff jazz. Maybe we should call it Black American music. Or maybe we should just call it something else. In the general sense, because most musicians I know, even in this generation versus a generation ago, are concerned with making money in a way that I don't think they were before. That makes sense because there were a lot of starving musicians before, and now people can get theirs. But sometimes I see that it kind of erodes people's like dreams and artistic visions, and so my tenuous balance is, how to be able to like buy and sell a stock on the iPhone and still be able to get in the zone when I need to make music. You know what I mean? And so that's my challenge because I love the artistry that the older musicians had. It seems to me to be so pure and free of all the crap. But at the same time, I don't want to be like preaching to you guys from my homeless shelter, to be quite frank. So it's just this weird balance. And I think each artist is dealing with that individually. And some people are doing it with better musical results than others. In a general sense, people who are only about making the money, I feel like musicians tend to be really some of the most talented people I know. They could go ahead and get that MBA and go make their money, But with music, there's got to be something about like art, and trying to reconcile art in the music world. Sometimes it's like a square peg in a round hole. And I know it can be done. We got technology, we've got labels, we've got a lot of things on our side now. So on the one hand, I want people to get their money. On the other hand, I don't want their music to be about getting their money. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I go somewhere sometimes I'm here on Earth. But I don't know. I try to go to the places that help me bring out the music. Some of those spaces are hard to define, to be honest. And some of them feel like a living room, like real comfy. But I don't know. I suppose it depends on what the reservations are about. If the reservations are about the name jazz or whatever, I would say don't worry about it. That stuff comes later. If the reservations are about just singing and stuff like that, if it's just for love, there's always space in your heart for love. If it's for a career, then yeah, try to be a little practical, but let love rule a little bit. Not to quote Lenny Kravitz. Let love rule a bit.
Please, Mr. Ogilvy, won't you take my case? I know I don't sing too good, but I'm working on my face. Please, Mr. Ogilvy, won't you push me through?